what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
The buck stops here. The buck stops at the president's desk when he's president of the United States.
Boy, don't you wish that were true today? Obama just deflects and deflects. It's nothing's his fault, nothing at all.
I mean,
he just goes on and on. It's everybody else's fault but him.
Yeah.
Like a fifth grader.
Yeah, exactly
he's
like a fifth grader.
You know he's a sociopath, right?
No, he is not.
And I think almost all politicians are in some sense.
I don't think
they have to be.
I don't think so.
Who in their right mind would want that job? Or any political job?
Or any job.
No, not any job. There's plenty of noble jobs. Politics is not one of them.
Name one noble job.
Somebody who searches for the cure to cancer is a noble pursuit.
Okay.
Someone who searches for a way to feed the world's masses so starvation is gone. That's a noble cause.
A noble pursuit.
Yeah.
You as a human have a right to somebody searching for a cure to a disease. That's not noble. That's your right.
I disagree with that.
Whatever.
Your right is everything, Snowflake.
Yeah. No, listen. I'm telling you, you have the right.
Why are we so feisty today? I think I had to do with the alcohol.
You showed up early.
Yep. You know what it was?
No.
I got to smooch and kiss your little baby girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's 15.
She's still crying. She's still crying.
There may be some legal aspects to it. She's one.
She's still crying, though.
She's not crying.
Still crying.
She was.
She is one now.
She was. She was so cute. She was reaching forward to kiss me. Oh, dude, kiss me! And I kissed her on the head. Snuggle her. It's just breathing that baby sound is just fantastic. I just love it. Oh, she's a sweetheart. That's what it is. That's what wound me up, because she's so sweet. And
wow, you're weird.
And cheerful.
She's cheerful.
And she's one of the few females in the world that doesn't get repulsed by me immediately.
Well, that one day she cried.
She did, but I just figured she had pneumonia or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I blame it on that. Couldn't be me. So anyways, your baby's really, really cute.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not sure it's mine.
Well, they have DNA. They can test these things out.
I mean, because she's darn cute.
No, I'm thinking because, there's a lot of reasons why I think that. I would go for the test. All right. Today's Thursday, of course. It's February 4th. February, man. January went right by. Didn't it?
Yeah, it only took like 31 days.
It was like 31 days, and it was over.
Yeah.
It's the 4th. It's 2016.
This month's
going
to go by even quicker, but not quite as quickly as it did last year.
I predict about 29 days.
Yeah, the groundhog, he saw a shadow.
That doesn't have anything to do with the month of February. It has to do with weather.
Are you well, it actually has nothing to do with... Well, it does have something to do with weather. Is it sunny or not sunny today? And what time is it?
And listen,
which direction
this is
do
what
I
love.
look?
If he sees it as 6 more weeks of winter, if he doesn't, it's 6 more weeks of winter. So
no, if he doesn't see it, winter's over in 6 more weeks.
No, that's not what it says.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's exactly the same.
No, it isn't the same.
Yeah, it's exactly.
You're wrong.
Anyways, we are in the
I'll look it up.
Freedom Studios. Go ahead, do that, Mr.
What's his name?
Obvious. Punxsutawney Phil. Good luck spelling that.
Uh-huh.
We're on the 15th floor of the Patriot Towers in Liberty City. Where are we at, Nate?
What?
Punxsutawney,
Pennsylvania, yeah.
Not Tony, it's Punxsutawney.
No,
my grandfather was born in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. His father was a coal mining union organizer. Boo, right? That shut everybody down. Let's see. We got a lot to talk about. We've got our trivia question, which is a good one this week. We have our day in history. What do you want to talk about? We could talk about how we worked for an hour and a half on the Second Amendment March website, which is organizing a statewide Second Amendment event in the state of Michigan at the Lansing State Capitol. That's April 13th. It's a Wednesday from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock. This year we're going to have something a little different. We're going to have a legal firearm panel. We're going to have 3 of the top firearm attorneys in the state of Michigan up on stage answering questions from the audience about firearm laws in Michigan, which are very convoluted and ridiculous. They're very hard to navigate, and we will have 3 professionals up there that'll answer any of your questions, and sometimes their answers will be this. I can guarantee it. I don't know.
You think so?
I'm not sure.
You should consult an attorney about that.
This one is, it depends.
Yeah, that'll be a good
And your case may vary. Because when it come to the law, ain't nothing understood.
right? I'm not a lawyer. And,
I'm not. Wait a minute. I am a lawyer. We're going to have to put a caveat in there that this is not legal advice that's binding.
We don't have to do that. We'll
No,
leave
they
that to
have
the
to do it.
lawyers.
Yeah, they'll have their lawyers look into it.
Yeah, right.
So we'll have 15 layers of lawyers looking into this.
That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
it does.
If you get in
my
trouble
lawyer
with the
will call your
firearms
lawyer.
law, that's what's going to happen on the other side.
Right.
So there's going to be 15 lawyers working against you.
Anyways, it'll be Stephen Doolin, it'll be Jim Mikowski, and it'll be Dean Greenblatt, all working on current cases, 2 of which are going to the Michigan Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
With the open carry of a handgun in schools, which is legal under the statute for a concealed pistol holder in the state of Michigan.
Yep.
Some schools have accepted that and do allow it, and other school districts are fighting it tooth and nail. We had 2 cases. One said the school is right and you can't carry there, and another district within the state said, no, you can't ban guns from schools. So they're allowed. So both of those will be going to the Court of Appeals.
Right.
And then there's another case that's challenging the University of Michigan's prohibition on guns. And the claim is that they are in violation of the preemption law since they are basically a local unit of government and not the state. So they can't enforce firearm laws that are more restrictive than the state.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. And unfortunately, that is in the same district where the female anti-gun judge ruled in favor of the Ann Arbor school, saying you couldn't carry a gun and that a school could ban firearms. So it'll be interesting. Those are the 3 attorneys that we'll be having at this event. Again, April 13th. Just in about 10 weeks or so, right?
Yeah, coming up.
We're also going to have C.J. Grissom, who is the founder of Open Carry Texas, who fought hard over the last couple of years and got open carry legal in Texas, where it was illegal forever.
Yeah, and I think we'll have to have him on the show before the march to ask, but I hope he includes in his
We've had him on the show
his speech. I know, but I want to ask him. I don't want him to miss this. It's very important.
Right.
Since that law went
You're going to help him with his speech writing?
Yeah, I'm helping him right now.
Right.
There have been
He's listening, I'm sure.
There have been so many shootings in Texas
because of this.
Because of open carry. There's blood everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't fly into Dallas Fort Worth Airport
without being shot at, without gunfire hitting airplanes and everyone else.
By openly carried firearms. It's horrible. Or handguns, I guess.
What the big bitch is about the butters, of course, being people that believe in the Second Amendment, but there should be all kinds of restrictions.
Yeah, like very large state
gun
organizations in
right?
Michigan.
Some of those, yeah. Uh-huh. Many legislators within many state governments are, I believe in the Second Amendment, but and they make carve-outs for special people and special groups like law enforcement.
Yeah, no, it's great because some people are just more equal than others.
Right, and that was written very well in Animal Farm by our good buddy and friend of the show. Who wrote 19? Oh, George Orwell.
You painted yourself into a corner there.
George Orwell. Yeah, he wrote Animal Farm. Read that book and read 1984 if you haven't read it. 2 excellent books.
Yeah.
Do it. I told my daughter to read it, and she says, I just can't get into it. And I said, well, you'll get into the freight cars if you don't read it. So
it's not funny at all.
No, not funny. And
she's still an Obama supporter, though, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
She was. I don't know.
Probably Bernie Sanders.
I told her.
nowadays.
Well, I jump on her every day for that. She's 21 in college, so she's going to be, this liberal bleeding heart. But
I wasn't.
in big, women's choice and gay rights and all that stuff.
That's okay.
But you heard about, the Bernie Sanders drinking game. You heard of that, right?
Well,
That's where
which one?
when Bernie Sanders promised you free stuff, you chug the beer of the guy next to you.
It seems fair,
That seems fair.
and any Bernie Sanders supporter would be okay with that.
Fine, it would be okay unless it's your beer that's being drunk by someone. Then
Well,
they
that's
might-
what I'm saying. They should be okay with it, shouldn't they? I don't have
They
a beer.
should be okay.
You have a beer. Give me half of your beer.
Even if you have a beer, I should be entitled to half of your beer
That's true.
to pay at least for someone else's beer that doesn't have a beer.
I want beer.
Now I do. Yeah. We got rum, but we got wine here.
We have a lot of
in
wine.
the studio here.
We've got rum. We've got vodka.
Punxsutawney.
I have a whole bottle of vodka.
No,
Let me
well, yeah, the
see.
bottle
Here
is
it is.
an
There it
ounce
is.
and a half. Those are baby bottles. That's what I bought your daughter for her birthday.
I know. I appreciate it.
Where were we going with this?
I have no idea. CJ.
Yeah, but we were talking about.
No, that was it.
Social
You
stuff.
were talking about the march. CJ is going to be one of the main speakers.
Yes, he will. He's going to be flying into Michigan from Texas. And
Rick Ector, who we've also had on the show.
Rick Ector is a great proponent of trying to legally arm everybody in the city of Detroit. He's a firearm instructor in the Detroit area. He's been on our show, and he's been a speaker at our marches before.
Yeah.
He'll be there again.
Yep.
We always have a few state representatives, and we'll have the
You
leaders.
think Mike
But
Green will do it this year?
I don't think he will. Mike Green won't. I
I
will
am-
say we're going
I
to have.
invited him.
We're going to have. Oh boy, I can't think of his name. Representative Runstead.
Yeah.
Who has proposed a constitutional carry bill.
Yeah.
which is getting a lot of press right now in the state of Michigan. And it's amazing. You know, all the butters come out of the woodwork then, because I can't believe the number of people that go, "Oh, I believe in the Second Amendment and everything, but boy, are we going to let anybody carry guns without any training? There'll be blood in the streets." So I always ask them, how many people are carrying guns concealed right now without permits in the state? Some.
And there,
So,
Oh, yeah,
a
lot, I'm sure.
And then I ask them, what about freedom scares you? And freedom is scary.
yeah.
And all these things.
Yeah.
And I say, look at the 7 other states that allow constitutional
Freedom-
carry and see what problems they have.
Freedom is
None.
less scary when you have a gun.
Well, I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a gun, freedom is still a good thing. It's better to have freedom than not.
Yeah. So, I mean, I say it all the time. It's not perfect, right? I mean, there is
Never
some
is.
pain to freedom,
And there-
but
yep.
it is always the best choice.
Yep. Better to be free than a slave, which is a foreshadowing into our This Day in History coming up later in the show. So let's see, law panel. Oh, other cool dudes. What other cool dudes are we having? Nobody.
Representatives from each of the.
Yeah, from each of the gun
So I
groups.
think it's worth noting that I don't think you did. The march this year is put on by Second Amendment March,
Yep.
Michigan Open Carry,
Yep.
and Michigan Gun Owners.
Right.
There's a very, very, very large state gun privilege organization
That
is
used
absent
to be
from that
involved
list.
with us.
They've been involved most years, right? And
Right. Since the beginning.
They
since we've
decided
done
not to this year, and instead have a lunch or a dinner for
They're
somebody.
going to look at the more of the self-defense use of firearms, because they didn't really like the open carry aspect of it, because it took away from
their
group.
their support of the Second Amendment. I don't
Right.
understand.
And
There's
let
a
me
bit of a conflict there.
let me
don't you
just
think?
say this. When the constitutional carry bill was announced in the last 2 days, Michigan Open Carry endorsed it. Gun Owners of America endorsed it, and the one we're talking about, Michigan Coalition of Responsible Gun Owners, are pondering it.
Well, of course,
We'll have to look at it and then decide whether we support it or not.
Yeah. Now, when Mike Green puts forth an anti-gun bill, they are very, very quick to jump on
right
that.
away because Mike Green is on the board of directors of this organization.
It's insane to me, and they state all the time, right, that constitutional carry is their main goal.
That's what they
right?
say.
I mean, that's their goal.
I do not believe that.
I haven't once, and they may have in their history, I haven't once seen them support constitutional carry.
I have not. They are a concealed carry, a concealed pistol license instructor, proponent, and a strong advocate of the NRA, which is in the game to play it and not win it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby steps. They always tell me baby steps.
Okay. Yeah, I can buy that. I don't agree, but I can buy the baby steps argument. But that doesn't mean that when a bill gets proposed, even if you think it will fail, that you can't say, yeah, that seems like a good thing.
Well, it's political suicide, and we're a political machine, and that's not good since we have all representatives on our board, and we're really just a lobby for our representatives.
Yeah. What do you want me to say?
I'm looking at you, and
What
you're
do
looking
you-
at me, and it's the truth no matter what they say. That's what they're about.
I would go comment on their page, but I've been banned.
Me too.
Really? No. Well, you've been unbanned, though.
I was unbanned.
Yeah, me too, once. What are you doing?
Now you're on super secret double ban.
Yeah.
You will never be reinstated again.
The moose at the front told me. So.
I should have told you.
Okay, speaking of political hacks, how about Trump?
What about him?
Move on to the...
You could shoot a man. Did you see the one of the
horrible.
satire? Did you see one of the satire posts?
Yes.
It wasn't the Onion, but it was a picture of a guy in a hospital on all kinds of hookup
Yeah,
stuff, and he
yeah.
says, "I was shot by Trump, and I'm still considering whether I want to vote for him or not. I think I might."
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's good, and it's probably true.
So-
Except in Iowa, something happened, right? Iowa caucus was Monday night,
Yes, it was.
and Cruz won. Ted Cruz won the Iowa caucus.
Which is not surprising.
Very weird. You remember we talked about Trump not attending the debate
right
last Thursday,
and it would
he
maybe
didn't.
cost his.
Well, yeah,
We don't know
we don't know.
if that was the reason.
He came out immediately, right? So he gave a concession speech and said, "Hey, congratulations, Ted Cruz, whatever." And then he said, "Well, you know, they told us we wouldn't do well in Iowa."
I'm huge.
Yeah, well, he said they've been telling us for months that we wouldn't do well in Iowa, so I decided not to do much because
Right.
we're not going to do well anyway, right? Like,
I heard he was
excuse.
spending lots of money in Iowa.
Absolute total excuse. Like,
Yeah.
I think, which I think I mentioned last week, he
Again,
he thought he
sociopath.
might not win, so he decided not to go to the debate, so he would have an out. Well, we just didn't try. He said we came in second. We're really happy. He actually said, "I'm very happy with the way things played out."
Right. Well,
in
what else
Iowa.
could he say?
Well,
I'm very disappointed.
now he's yelling shenanigans, right? Now he's attacking Cruz, saying he cheated, committed voter fraud, right? Should be disqualified.
How did Cruz commit voter fraud?
Well, he did a couple of things. The Cruz campaign sent out these mailings that said election violation and supposedly had real names in it with percentages and grades of like elections that they voted in, of registered voters.
No, start again. I don't know how was Cruz responsible for election fraud? Wouldn't that be on the elections committee?
Also,
I missed it.
Also, right before the caucus, Cruz's campaign sent out a tweet that said, "Hey, it looks like Ben Carson is going to drop out of the race. So all you Ben Carson supporters, you might as well vote for Cruz."
That's campaigning. I don't know how that's voter fraud.
And you know where that came from is Ben Carson said, "I'm going to fly home after the caucus." But he was flying home to do laundry.
It's a misunderstanding.
Yeah. And Cruz apologized. But it's tricky, though.
That's
okay?
not fraud.
Well,
That's dirty politics, but
But
voter
it's-
fraud
it's-
is stuffing the ballot
it's
or not counting certain votes for certain people.
at worst, it's dirty politics.
At
At best,
worst.
it was a misunderstanding and a mistake, which I
Right.
think probably is the case.
And dirty politics is acceptable.
Now, it may have had an
Always
actual
been
effect,
around.
though, because there's what? So Cruz won by like 6,000 votes or something. There's 1,500 precincts. They sent that message to all of the captains, at the precincts. That's what, like 4 votes per precinct if they get swayed from Carson to Cruz? That's not that many.
That's brilliant strategy.
He won.
Yeah, but was Carson his real primary competitor?
No, but I think it was a way. I think Carson voters were probably more likely to go to Cruz than Trump voters.
Yeah.
So that's the idea, and it was an opportunity. If it would have been Carly Fiorina, they may have done the same thing.
I think if there were Trump voters, well, okay. No, I okay.
You don't think anybody would have been swayed by that? Like, well, hey, if Carson's not in it, I'm going to make my vote count.
People can be swayed by all sorts of things. I just don't know that.
Really? Because last week you said they aren't swayed by things like debates.
No, I don't think anybody really listens to the debates that goes out and votes. I think they get a small audience.
But you think they don't listen to the debates, but they do read Ted Cruz's tweets?
I think, yeah, your 5,000 people that voted for him, yeah, I'm sure they changed from Carson to
I'm saying that's
Cruz.
only 4 votes per precinct.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely possible.
You hate that when I do that.
I hate it when you don't do that.
Why? What's that middle finger mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So
on the other side, they have a much more grown-up method of choosing the winner of the caucus.
You mean the Democrats? Yeah. What do? They
just flip a coin.
Oh yeah, that's
which I'm wondering. Like, I think that's kind of fair. Why don't they just do that and just not have any votes?
The thing is, what nobody doesn't know is it was a double-headed coin.
Weren't there multiple coin flips like in different areas?
Yeah, there were like 6 or 7 precincts. Did
Clinton win most of them or all of them?
All of them, every one.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah,
50-50.
No, I don't think so. I'm not a mathematician, but I don't think that's right.
Well, the odds
could be, though.
The odds of her winning each one is 50%.
What's great about statistics,
50-50, right?
The statistics are you could have 100 coin flips go in the same direction.
Right.
And it would still be 50-50.
Right.
Which is weird.
That's what I was saying.
Never understood statistics and all that. I don't have any confidence in statistics.
There's, of course, allegations.
My standard deviation from confidence is 1.
People think Clinton cheated also. But I think that's probably more likely than Ted Cruz cheating.
Well, I think so, yeah. You know, the Democrats, they cheated everything, right?
Yep, mostly.
Yeah. Except when the Republicans do it.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. Sociopaths. They're all sociopaths.
I don't think that's true.
Yes, they are.
I doubt it.
Name me one politician that isn't crazy. One.
Jimmy Carter?
Crazy.
No, come on.
Crazy. Give me another one.
All right.
How about Abraham Lincoln?
Rick Snyder.
Crazy.
Oh, of course he was crazy. I saw him fighting Rick Snyder.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I do. Trust me.
He's a nerd.
He's one tough nerd. I can't even stand his voice. Oh my God. I'm one tough nerd. Don't drink the water.
That's pretty close.
I just can't stand him.
Let's take a break.
Oh, finally. Wait a minute. Trivia question. Woohoo. All right. This is a good one. Which president was the only president that worked for the National Park Service? And he was a turkey wrangler.
He was the only president that worked for the National Park Service?
That is correct.
Before the National Park Service worked for him?
That's correct.
Okay. Nixon?
It was not Nixon.
Oh.
Nixon was a really good poker player and an extreme baseball fanatic. He knew all kinds of stats about baseball. Impressive. He loved baseball.
Okay.
So,
is that it? We going to break now?
That's correct there, Tubby.
All right. AdOutShow.com. Some other stuff. We'll be right back.
At odds.
Hey, Mom, tired of getting paid peanuts working for someone else? Tired of that job interfering with trying to be a good mom? How'd you like to be in total control of your time and make as much money as you want to? Go to Income51.com for free information on hundreds of work-from-home business opportunities from the Mom's Business Network.
I'm a single mom, and when I found this opportunity, I was able to make $1,200 part-time my first month, fire my boss, and now work from home full-time around my kids.
What mom wouldn't want to fire their boss, still make great money, and have the freedom to live the life she wants?
I was working as a corporate executive. I never had time with my family. Then I got downsized. I decided I was never going to work for anyone again. What I like about this is I get to be my own boss, work at home around my family, and provide a great lifestyle.
Go to Income51.com for free information today. That's Income51.com. Start earning great money as soon as next week. That's Income51.com. Income51.com.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-679-0476. That's 1-800-679-0476. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-679-0476. That's 1-800-679-0476.
Hi, this is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. The mainstream media has failed the American people once again. Internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio will not fail you. Tune in 24 hours a day. Studios A and B. Great conservative programming around the clock. Red State Talk Radio, the dominant force in Internet conservative talk radio.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 877-595-5381. That's 877-595-5381. Again, 877-595-5381. Call now.
From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys.
If you support the Second Amendment, then join us Wednesday, April 13th for our annual Second Amendment March from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Capitol steps. There will be speakers, vendors, and gun right groups, as well as musical entertainment. Join your fellow patriots for a march around the Capitol Mall starting at noon. Meet with your state representatives to express your support of the Second Amendment. So bring the family, your friends, and your firearm to the Capitol Wednesday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Visit secondamendmentmarch.com for more information.
Good evening. When I'm not out sucking blood, I'm listening to the At Odds Show with Nate and Brian. Those two guys drive me batty. Batty, who writes this crap? Where's the writer? I want to suck his blood.
And welcome back to At Odds Show. This is Nate. That's Brian over there. Steve.
Hello.
doesn't know how to do things today, but that's all right.
Well, you know, for what we're paying him, we're lucky he even shows up.
He didn't today, actually. I haven't seen him.
Really? I didn't even notice he wasn't here.
I know.
That's sad, isn't it? Poor old Steve. All right, trivia question. You really want me to do this, huh?
It's too late. You already asked it. Everyone's at the edge of their seats.
I axed it.
I mean, they're getting ready to get up and turn us off. That's why they're at the edge of their seats.
They already
still.
have. Which president was the only one that worked for the National Park Service? I'll give you a clue, right?
He's not a crook.
He worked as a ranger in Yellowstone Park in 1936.
He's a sociopath.
He's a sociopath, definitely.
He's from a state that is shaped like winter apparel.
Like a mitten, even though he was born like in Kansas or somewhere.
Mitt Romney?
Not Mitten Romney. Although it sounds right.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right. So it was Gerald Ford. Yep. He worked as a ranger at Yellowstone. Oh, hey, Yogi. Oh, Mr. Ranger. I'd like to have a picnic basket.
That's Jellystone.
Oh. He didn't work there?
You know there's a Jellystone Park in...
Hey, Mr. Ranger Man.
Where is it? I don't remember. There's one around here, though.
Gee, Yogi, why am I all sticky? Shut up, boo-boo. Anyways, 1936, worked as a park ranger. Good old Gerald Ford. All right. You want to do this day in history? I think we should.
Okay, go ahead.
It's historic.
And then I want to talk about healthcare again.
Okay. In this day in 1861, all right, a date that will live in infamy. What happened in 1861, Nate?
It's not living in infamy too much anymore.
It is.
Not really.
Oh, people are still arguing and fighting and killing over this. The Confederate States of America is open for business when the Provisional Confederate Congress convenes in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, the official record read, "Be it remembered that on the 4th day of February in the year of our Lord, 1861, and in the capital of the state of Alabama in the city of Montgomery, at the hour of noon, there assembled certain deputies and delegates from the several independent South states of North America. An order of business was drafting a constitution. The Congress used the U.S. Constitution. Why not? Taking most of it verbatim. They got it done in 4 days. The president was limited to 1 6-year term. That's a difference. And they included the word slave, which was used in the institution protected in all states and any territories to be added later. Now, the importation of slaves was prohibited because, you know, that would alienate the European nations, which had banned slavery already. And that's the sad thing about this war, is that probably within 5 or 6 years, the pressure on the United States would have been so great from the rest of the world that slavery would have been abolished peacefully. So you could sell slaves internally. It was very profitable. Do you know who the first president of the Confederacy, the first and only president of the Confederacy, do you know who it was?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Without looking?
Yeah, without looking. I'm not telling you, though.
Okay. Jefferson Davis, a West Point graduate, and he was a former U.S. Senator from Mississippi. He also served as the U.S. Secretary of War in the 1850s. Striking. If you take a picture of Jefferson Davis and put it up next to Abraham Lincoln, they look very similar. Tall, thin men with beards.
So what you're saying is it was the same person.
That's what I'm thinking.
This whole thing was a conspiracy also?
That's what I think. I don't think it really happened.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll blow your mind. So there you go. A lost cause, unfortunately. Tens of thousands of people.
A lost cause?
Yeah, tens of thousands of people.
Oh, you mean CSA?
Yeah.
It was a lost cause.
Yeah.
I got you.
Didn't last more than 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Bloody struggle.
Yeah, so
that's our day in history.
Moving on.
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about healthcare?
Healthcare. You brought it up earlier.
I did not.
And I think you did.
I don't listen to
I was trying to tell you that healthcare is absolutely a human right.
I'm not sure about that.
I am sure.
There's
about
lots
that.
of things
Think
that
about
people
it.
think are rights, but really aren't rights.
Well,
although
healthcare is one of them that is.
It depends on what your definition of a right is, I suppose.
So this is actually something you found, and I don't. When was this from?
2011.
So not that long ago.
5 years.
But Bernie Sanders
it was some committee that was assembled, and they were talking to several, private and public healthcare officials,
right?
Directors,
doctors,
of this or that.
and
yeah, exactly. And he said, philosophically, now I want to talk about is healthcare a right? Is it a human right? And should we treat it as a right? And of course, the doctors were thinking, "Oh, yeah, we think so," because they were
some of the doctors,
they were all liberal and silly,
handpicked.
But then now I defer to my colleague, Senator Paul, and he had this to say.
Thank you very much. With regard to the idea of whether or not you have a right to health care, you have to realize what that implies. It's not an abstraction. I'm a physician. That means you have a right to come to my house and conscript me. It means you believe in slavery. It means that you're going to enslave not only me, but the janitor at my hospital, the person who cleans my office, the assistants who work in my office, the nurses. If you have a right to their services, basically once you imply a belief in a right to someone's services, do you have a right to plumbing? Do you have a right to water? Do you have a right to food? You're basically saying that you believe in slavery. You're saying you believe in taking and extracting from another person. Our founding documents were very clear about this. You have a right to pursue happiness, but there's no guarantee of physical comfort. There's no guarantee of concrete items. In order to give something concrete or someone's surface, you got to take it from someone. So there's an implied threat of force. If I'm a physician in your community and you say you have a right to health care, do you have a right to beat down my door with the police, escort me away, and force me to take care of you? That's ultimately what the right to free health care would be. If you believe in a right to health care, you're believing in basically the use of force to conscript someone to do your bidding. Now, just because it's a noble thing to believe that we are obligated as Christians, we are obligated through the Hippocratic Oath, we have always done this. Since the beginning of modern medicine, we have always provided 100% access. I do it in exchange for privileges. I do it because I believe in the Hippocratic Oath, but my hospital also says to me, you can only operate in this hospital if you agree to see everyone coming through the emergency room. I always have. We have always treated. We have always had 100% access through our emergency room. Those were for emergencies. They're not the best place for primary care. We all agree with that. But we've always had 100% free access.
So I just want to clarify, when he talks about in exchange for privileges, he doesn't mean like he gets a car or he gets a good parking spot.
Right.
He means hospital privileges. That means that's a term that doctors use. I have privileges at St. Lawrence. I have privileges at Johns Hopkins. That means that you're allowed to practice and use their facilities,
right,
and you enter into a contract.
Right.
And he said one of the things that he has to do to get those privileges is to swear that he will treat all people in order to work in that hospital. So that's what he meant by privileges. But I agree with most of what he said. Some of it's the slavery. I think that's a sort of a draconian,
it's
dystopian, futuristic type thing that could happen. But certainly, I think his point makes a philosophical statement and is sound in that regard. The potential there is
how
for that.
else. I mean, really, you're going to make a distinction between him using slavery for. That is what it is. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you would make the same argument about gun laws, right? That the end game is to control people, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact same argument that he's making about health care. I mean, they're doing it under the facade of safety and of public health and all of that garbage. It's the same argument.
It's noble and
gun control's noble. It saves the lives of children.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So I don't think it's very far-fetched for him to say that it's slavery, because it is. How do you guarantee a right of somebody else's services other than by forcing them to do it?
Yeah, no, there's two ways. One is it's the right is acknowledged voluntarily.
I acknowledge that you have the right for certain things.
It doesn't work that way.
I'm just saying that's one way to do it. We cooperate in a voluntary manner. But more likely, a right has to be protected by some entity, whether that right is protected by a mafia, a cartel, a family organization, a corporation protects rights of their workers, perhaps. But generally what it means is the government is there to step in to protect the rights of its citizens. And that would be one scenario, I think, where the government could come in and say, hey, you have to do this. You can't not refuse to take it. Now, right now, there are doctors that refuse taking like Medicaid and stuff because it doesn't pay enough and stuff.
Right.
And I think that's fine.
They have that choice.
There are plenty of doctors that do accept it.
Yep. Now, Bernie Sanders did follow this up by asking the other doctors that were there, well, do you feel like a slave? And they say it's ironic because they say, well, no, I don't. I chose this profession,
right, which is the opposite of slavery.
Right.
Of course.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Right. Today or before
voluntary.
Obamacare or whatever, it was voluntary, and people were getting the care they needed. Certainly the emergency services,
emergency care, right?
Because people volunteered to do it,
and there were lots of private clinics and that were funded by private organizations and people and stuff.
I mean, it's not perfect, like we said earlier, but
I just don't know that healthcare is a right. I don't know that you have a right
it's not.
to be fed every day either.
It's not.
I mean,
you don't.
I think it's a noble endeavor, and we should try to do that to make sure that people don't go hungry. But I don't know that we need to do it at the point of a gun.
It doesn't work. It just
not for long.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. In the end, usually more people end up being hungry and or dying.
Yeah. Oh, they get lead in their water. Right? I mean, when we try to guarantee water to people by letting the government be in charge of the water supply, it doesn't work out.
Is that a reference to Flint, Michigan?
No, it's a reference to the 8 cities around the country that have higher lead levels than Flint,
actually,
Michigan.
there's hundreds and hundreds of cities that have issues with the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
The infrastructure is getting old, and it's inadequate, and it costs a lot of money to make those changes.
In a lot of those places, it's a public utility. Not all of them.
Almost all.
Almost all, yeah.
But still, infrastructures age, and they need to be maintained, and we haven't done that.
Why hasn't the government been doing that?
Because money is being misdirected in all kinds of different directions.
Do you think if it was private industry that they would have some motivation to do things right?
Maybe, yeah. There'd be
maybe some liability.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know what was upsetting? It's a personal thing. They revoked. There's 8 or 9 state employees that are being sued, and the attorney general has revoked their immunity.
Well, he says he can only cover the executive office, right?
That's what he claims.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because my understanding as being a state employee was that as long as it wasn't gross negligence, you would be covered from liability for doing your job in the best way you thought, as long as it was negligent. Now, maybe they think it was negligent, and so they yanked it, but they're screwed.
Pretty much. I mean, they're going to have to get their own lawyer, right?
Right, and that's going to be $1,000. And if they lose and they settle, then they could lose all kinds of stuff.
Well, is it just civil?
Yeah, I don't think there's criminal issues, but I mean, let's say the judge awards, each of them, they have to pay $1 million.
Right.
Well,
where's that going to come from?
Right. They garnish their wages. They take their pensions. They do all kinds of stuff. They declare bankruptcy, and I don't know how well they'd be protected from that then, but they're basically screwed if they lose.
And not in great shape if they don't lose.
Right, and it's going to cost them money just to defend themselves. And the fact that 2 of the employees have been suspended pending an investigation without pay, I think. Maybe they're getting paid, I don't know.
Right.
And one was a district supervisor, and the other was a division chief. Pretty high up. So, all right. Let's see. That was health care.
Hear about Facebook now? They're banning gun sales.
Yeah,
and stuff.
it's exciting. I mean, we're finally making progress.
I have 2 friends that have had sites taken down by them.
Maybe they should stop trying to sell guns to criminals.
I don't know that was the case.
I think that's what the Facebook page was called. Criminals buy guns here.
Oh, yeah. Well,
look, there hasn't been a single private person-to-person sale on Facebook that was done in good faith. That hasn't happened. I'm just saying, if you're not a licensed dealer, you shouldn't be selling guns.
Really?
Yeah.
How about in all the states where you don't have to have a license and you can sell guns to private individuals? And I think your statement would be better to say, if they don't break the law.
No.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I don't know what you're saying. Are you being facetious?
No.
Okay. So there's what, WeMe now or MeWe?
Yeah.
MeWe.
Yeah. Did you see the? And by the way, our good buddy attorney Stephen Doolin pranked a lot of people with this. But did you see the article that said Facebook closing on its new purchase of MeWe.com?
I didn't see that. Yeah. That's funny.
It was fake.
Yeah, MeWe is supposed to be an alternative to Facebook, just getting off the ground. And I suppose, and I guess they're not anti-gun per se, or at least neutral.
Yeah, I mean, it'll work as well as like Gunpal.com and some of those other. Yeah. People aren't going to go there. The vast majority of people are not using Facebook to buy and sell guns.
Right.
So they're not going to go anywhere because they don't give a damn.
Right, but it's not just the gun issue. The MeWe is trying to build their company on privacy. Nobody gets your information. We don't sell it. We don't pop up ads. We don't spy on you.
So
your what you post is your property. We don't make any claims to using your photography and all that kind of stuff.
So
that's what they claim.
Let me start over. The majority of people on Facebook don't give a damn about any of that either.
I agree with that. Over 50%.
So it's not. And the other side that does care, they're not all going to leave.
It's 1.6 billion users on Facebook.
Yeah.
Just imagine 1% of that.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
So that company could do pretty well. I agree.
That's
I think
what
it's
I'm
fine.
thinking, yeah.
What I'm saying is there's not going to be a mass exodus from Facebook that causes Facebook to rethink their policies.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know that.
There's going to be people like me who are still going to use Facebook because it's convenient.
I don't think anybody's making that claim that it's going to replace Facebook. I think it's an alternative, and that's what competition is about.
Alternatives are good,
and that's what
MySpace is still around.
About. Yeah, I have an account. I haven't touched it in 6 years or 7 years.
I got an email from MySpace today.
Did you?
Yeah,
from 1976 or what?
Do they allow guns sales?
I don't know.
I've never used. I don't even
Facebook.
know how MySpace works anymore.
I opened it up so I could look at somebody and stalk them.
Yeah,
and that's actually true. It was a county prosecutor during a gun trial. I wanted to find out who she was,
and she had a MySpace page.
My face.
What?
That was the only time I ever.
My what?
MySpace or whatever it's called. My face.
Yeah. Okay.
What? Okay. What? We got nothing else.
I'm thinking. Yeah, we have a lot. We skipped some, but what I'm saying is, I don't think it's a big deal that Facebook's banning things.
All right, real quick, because I don't have a lot to say about it, but good news from the Federal Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. It strikes down the ban on high-capacity sales and transfers and a ban on assault weapons in Maryland. District Court said it was perfectly legal. Federal Court said, nope, it's not. It doesn't meet strict scrutiny. They didn't rule it unconstitutional, but they bounced it back to the district court and said, rehear it, re-listen to it, and apply these standards to your decision. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be good, but maybe not. Problem is the Seventh Circuit Court in California, it was in the Midwest, upheld the Highland Park, Illinois gun ban. So there's two federal circuit courts with opposing views.
Kind of competing in a way. I mean, the one was a magazine ban, right?
Well, they're both onerous. See, I used the R in there that time. Onerous.
It's good when you learn English.
I know it.
I'm glad I could help you with that.
Thank you. And no, it's more than just bands. I mean, it was assault rifles, scary bands. The Maryland was the worst. I mean, basically it was your typical semi-automatic deer rifle was illegal. 10-round magazine, all kinds of stuff. And one of their arguments was, listen, people have a right to a handgun in their home, and by limiting how many rounds they can have in that handgun is going too far. That's what the opinion was.
Right.
And that, that's.
Yeah, I think they were right.
Yeah.
So
we'll see what the district court does. They'll finagle and finagle. I think it'll end up going back again. Because I think the district court in Maryland will stick with their guns.
Yeah.
And it'll be appealed again. So we'll see. It may end up going to Maryland Supreme Court. Or maybe the U.S. Supreme Court. I don't know. Right. Anyways,
so I want to move on a little bit because we've only got about 5 minutes left, and this is interesting to me. So, and I don't remember where this was. It was New Jersey, right? A couple of
Boundbrook.
I think they were adults, 18 years old.
Yeah, but they were still in high school.
Whatever.
They were still in high school.
They were entrepreneurial. Yep. Wanted to make a little extra money.
Big snowstorm.
So their neighbors needed their sidewalks shoveled and stuff. So they made some flyers up and they went door to door.
Handing them out,
advertising their services. We'll shovel your driveway and your sidewalks for whatever, however much money.
Yeah. So what happened was that the police got a call of a suspicious person in a hoodie, walking around people's yards. So they investigated,
which was great. Yeah, and they showed up, and it turns out they didn't have a permit to solicit door to door in this city.
Right, and the cops said, listen, you can shovel driveways all you want, but you can't go door to door. They have to solicit you. You can't solicit them unless you have this $450 permit, which is good for 180 days, and it takes several weeks to get it. So, the opportunity is squandered.
Right. Well,
and the cops' version was, it was handled just great. Cops were cool, man. They didn't hassle them. They just said they can't do that anymore.
This hits home to me because there are a bunch of really lovely people on the community pages around here on Facebook that are constantly complaining. Someone came to my door and they were selling something, so I called the city to make sure they had a permit.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
Come on. Give me a break. And they always post pictures of them. This guy came to my door, post a picture of the truck. He was selling vacuums. Okay.
Yeah.
I called. He didn't have a permit, so I called the police.
Right.
Leave people alone.
Yeah, guy's just trying to make a buck.
I mean,
it's an honest job. It's honest working.
Some of them might not be, but the damn permit isn't going to stop them, right? They're going to come knock on your door anyway. And if you don't answer to talk to them, they're going to assume you're not home and they're going to break in because that's how it works.
Well, getting back to these boys, they wouldn't even have made $450. They might have made a couple $100 on a good week. And it's just ridiculous. The good news was that the guy who owned the home where the cops confronted these two kids in his yard hired him to giving an FU to the police, I think.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. They didn't get as much snow as they thought, so there was less work. But
sure.
Still,
not $450 worth of work.
The point is, good Lord, what is this about? Money. It's just about money.
Well, it keeps the residents very happy because random people don't knock on their doors.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, I will tell you, it is awfully annoying when the dude with the meat in his truck shows up and tries to sell you meat.
Yeah.
But he has a damn permit. So it doesn't do me any good, right? Because it's a larger business.
Right, they can afford
which is your point. They can afford the permit to walk around town with all these people who, don't knock on my door.
So what is the residents' problem? Is it the fact that they're being disturbed or the fact that they don't have a permit? Because if they have a permit, they're still going to be disturbed.
Right.
And have somebody knock on their door.
They don't understand that because it starts out, I'm disturbed. And if they don't have a permit and didn't bow down to the government, they must have some nefarious
reasons.
Things in mind, right?
Yeah. Other than,
trying to make some money.
Costs money to get the permit.
I need to make a couple sales so I can pay the government a tax so I can make some more sales.
Right. Well, it's like Michigan where you got to pay, I don't know, thousands of dollars a year to have a dance floor permit. So you can have people dance in your bar.
Yep.
Good
Like a
Lord. What
cabaret
the
license.
hell's government's problem or issue with being...
Yeah, like there's a difference if you have a dance floor or don't have a dance floor.
Right. And if people
It's
want to
insane.
dance without your dance floor, oh my goodness.
I
now
don't
they're in
know. Are you
violation.
supposed to not allow them? Like if you go to Bob Evans and start dancing?
Hey, stop that. We don't have a permit. Jesus, you're going to have us closed down.
The Jefferson Memorial.
Yeah,
You've seen
dancing
those
there.
videos, right? I mean, that was Adam Kokesh and whatever.
Yeah.
His friends, they got arrested.
Oh, there'll be no dancing in front of the Lincoln Memorial.
Really? Who made
That
you
is
God?
horrible.
Oh, well, we're federal agents.
Oh, okay. You're higher than God.
That's right. Please take my land.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, no, it's bad.
Are
but
we there?
I'm going to go get a solicitor's license and walk around and hand out Ad Odd Show cards.
I think so.
What do you think?
I think you should add out solicitations on how to solicit it and get a permit.
That's a good idea. All right, we're out of time. See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.